On October 17, 2018, the Jamaican women's national team made history by becoming the first Caribbean team to qualify for a Women's World Cup. On June 9th, the Reggae Girlz will make their maiden bow in the tournament. It comes 21 years after the men's team graced the highest stage of international soccer for the first and to date only time, with the competition coincidentally playing in the same host nation, France. As the lowest ranked team in the competition, the Reggae Girlz travel to France as underdogs, a tag they are more than accustomed to holding. Women's soccer in Jamaica has long had to contend with existing on an uneven playing field, both in a figurative and a literal sense. From youth level to the senior national team, Jamaica's women's programs have long had to feed off the scraps left behind by the men's game, or on some occasions, even go hungry. Back in 2015, a cloud of uncertainty hung over the future of the Reggae Girlz.
We inherited a situation where there was no Women's Premier League and the under 15 parish girls competition was aborted.
But then an unlikely figure appeared to breathe fresh life into the program. Not a figure from the world of soccer, but rather one from Jamaica's unofficial royal family, the Marleys. Living in Florida, Cedella Marley, the eldest daughter of Bob and Rita Marley and the CEO of Tough Gong Records and the Bob Marley Foundation, happened upon a flyer asking for donations to help the Jamaican women's national team. Despite not growing up with the same love of the game as her father, the flyer filled Cedella with a sense of anger and purpose. She decided to use her platform and contacts to fight on behalf of the overlooked and neglected Reggae Girlz.
First of all, she's passionate about football. She's passionate about empowering women and young girls. So this was kind of like a natural matchup for her. So she came on board and she promised the girls that she would give them the necessary support that would make them able to compete. Now, little girls are going to have that opportunity, and this, I think, has been Cedella's vision to allow girls to see all their possibilities.
And it's a wonderful work that she is doing when she really invests in Reggae Girlz.
It's really nice to see somebody care so deeply for the team, and we're really grateful for all the support that she gives us. I mean, if it wasn't for her, who knows where it would be as a soccer program.
Cedella and the Bob Marley Foundation's backing set the wheels in motion on a journey that would usher in a sea of change within the program and culminate in a historic run to the 2019 World Cup. Like her father's song says, out of the darkness, there must come out the light.
All I was aware of was that there was no funding, so the program was cancelled. That was all I was told. And we went to work. We need people who actually believe in women's football, in the federations, in all federations. And I think once we start to grow the grassroots programs, as I think Jamaica has been doing, but now just like putting our foot in it, and not just a little fluff because it's just something to say, well, we do that too. No, we do that too and we win. That's how I see it. I'm not one to just do something because it's to be done. If I'm not going to be the best at it, then why do it?
The first order of business installing a coach with an intimate knowledge of the program, as well as fresh ideas. That coach was Hugh Menzies, with over 30 years of coaching experience to draw upon, as well as a network of schools and colleges to provide his players with regular playing time away from the national team. Menzies was the perfect fit for the Reggae Girlz, even if he didn't realize that when he initially got involved with the team.
I had no intentions of really getting involved in the actual coaching component of it, but just trying to help them facilitate their needs. And they asked me to do a couple of training sessions, and then I ended up doing all the training sessions for the rest of the 10 days. And then after they didn't qualify, Cedella came to me and asked me if I wanted to be the technical director and the head coach. I volunteered, took the job, wanted to give back to my culture, my country, just basically the biggest component for her when she talked to me was, how can we change the mindset of how people perceive females in sports? And then when we started, they disbanded the league here. So I took it as another hurdle I have to jump over. So I just started shipping kids out, put them into universities, boarding schools, and pro leagues in Europe.
Looking beyond Jamaica has been one of the keys to Menzies' successful tenure, not only in terms of player recruitment, but also in terms of finding suitable programs for his players to develop, both as athletes and as people.
So it was, quote unquote, probably the best thing ever happened. You know, because we were able to use resources outside of the country to develop our players, and not only develop them as players, but also develop them as educated human beings.
And while the Reggae Girlz' roster includes a sizable contingent of players from Jamaica's global diaspora, first-generation Jamaicans still play an integral role. As way of example, the team's star player, Khadija Bunny Shaw, is a native of the island. Shaw, who scored 19 goals in the France 2019 preliminaries, honed in on her skills from an early age on the streets of Spanish Town, before rising through the national team's underage ranks and then making her mark on the senior side.
Growing up in Jamaica in a small community, Angels Christian District, you know, soccer was the main sport. Whenever the rain would fall, it still wouldn't stop anything. If the soccer field was wet, they took it to the streets. So, you know, every day I grew up seeing soccer playing around, and I was a little girl sitting on the sidewalk. I was really just desperate to know what was so special about this sport. And I mean, I asked my brother to give me a few tips, and that's why I actually started playing soccer. And later on, I asked my dad to get me a basketball, actually, because I just wanted a ball. And he's like, why did you need a basketball? And I said, because I want to kick it. And he's like, no, you need a soccer ball. And I was like, whatever it is, because I would always kick like bottles in the streets, boxes, anything I see, I kick.
There were no girls' teams nearby when Shaw was growing up, but undeterred, she developed her game by playing against boys.
I think Jamaica needs to have some program that helps to develop girls, but for me personally, I think playing with boys is the best. In order for a girl to get better, they got to be in tough environments as a soccer player. And for me, I was just happy that I was in such... When I was younger, I wouldn't think so when I was younger. But at the end of the day, looking back, I'm just really happy I did that.
Looking ahead to the World Cup, Shaw warns Group C opponents Italy, Brazil, and Australia that the underdogs should not be taken lightly.
We're a team with a lot of style. You know, we do our own thing. This is one thing that, you know, it's going to be different for the World Cup, you know. We vibe different, we talk amongst ourselves different, as you can see when the music is playing. We're not just sitting, somebody's dancing, somebody's doing something, you know.
Having a mixture of personalities from widely different backgrounds has not hindered the Reggae Girlz' progress or caused friction within the ranks. Quite the opposite, in fact, as Roma defender Alison Swaby explains.
I mean, we're all just working towards a common goal. We have the same aspirations and dreams, and I think that because we're all unified around what we're trying to achieve, it makes it very easy for us to gel with each other. And also, like, Jamaicans just like love Jamaicans, so you know, it's kind of like once you enter this group, it's so easy to mesh and gel, and that's something I'm really grateful for, because we obviously didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So because it was so easy to enter the group, you know, that's how we were able to get this process started and remain successful.
Swaby grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, along with her sister Chantel, another member of the Reggae Girlz' roster. Both are products of the U.S. youth system, who made the transition to the Jamaican national team.
Well, I previously came from the U.S. youth teams, and you know, just that transition from there to Jamaica was just the biggest difference. When I went to the U.S., it was, you know, it was pretty like uptight, you know, it was like very, very structured. It was like, you know, you do this and this. But with Jamaica, like, there was a lot more leeway. I felt a lot more like, you know, welcomed. The style of play we have is just so unique, and just to be able to like see our forwards, you know, do all these moves and take on all these players with all this fanciness, it's so fun to watch, but it just like shows how technically good like our players are. So, you know, I love the style of play.
Despite the team's appealing playing style and the huge stride it has made in recent years, the program is still a long way behind other, more established women's senior teams. Money or lack of it has been a common theme and continues to act as an obstacle for women's soccer in Jamaica. Grassroots soccer is still under-resourced and the national team has fewer training camps to work with than other teams. The Reggae Girlz' relationship with the JFF has often been fraught, while the private sector has generally hesitated to get behind the team.
As you can see, women in Jamaica, we can play, you know, but as I said before, we just needed the opportunity and a chance to just show that, hey, we can do it, you know, but if we don't, we can always show and we can always do, but if we don't have anybody behind us, then that dream's just a dream, you know, and it will forever be a dream.
Not that Shaw or her teammates are making excuses about unequal treatment.
This is the goal, to qualify for the World Cup, and we stuck to the task and we grind and we faced a lot of adversity, but that didn't define who we are as a team.
We try not to think too much about it. We just try to embrace and utilize every moment we do get together. And, you know, obviously there's technical, tactical aspect to the game, but there's also heart. And as long as I feel like we bring that every time, you know, we're able to kind of overcome any of those adversities.
The good news is that World Cup qualification has brought with it more media exposure, forcing the Federation to sit up and pay attention.
When I say queen, you say dream, queen!
Through the Bob Marley Foundation, Cedella Marley has acted as the team's chief spokesperson and fundraiser, encouraging the private sector to provide financial support for the team.
What has happened through this qualification is that we're having more conversations about women and football. And I think that's good that we're now able to have those open conversations.
As long as there's funding and support, you know, these girls can become anything that they want to be.
Against all those odds, the Reggae Girlz will be one of the 24 teams competing in this summer's World Cup.
I don't look at the World Cup as the pinnacle of why I do this job. It's beyond that. How are we going to sustain this whole product? How are we going to help that kid that's 10 years old?
I don't think we can right now measure the impact that the Reggae Girlz' present performance and their present status internationally has had and will continue to have on girls, aspiring young footballers, not only in Jamaica but regionally and across the world. Anywhere that the Reggae Girlz story is being told, I'm sure it will be an inspirational story.
The Reggae Girlz and their performance has given women in sports that feeling that a lot of young girls out there now in Jamaica, right across Jamaica, want to play soccer. And today, they are the darling of this nation.
Across Kingston, Connecticut, and the rest of the globe, future Reggae Girlz will be watching every second of the action as their heroes go toe-to-toe with the world's best. This team has inspired a generation of young Jamaicans to dream the impossible dream and has brought girls' soccer into sharper focus than ever before. But their actions alone cannot guarantee the future well-being of the sport. The JFF, the media, sponsors, and fans also need to do their share to eradicate the gender gap in Jamaican soccer. The full impact this team has made on the development of girls' soccer in Jamaica can only be measured properly in the years to come. But for now, one thing is for sure. The World Cup will be richer for having the Reggae Girlz in it.